Guys, welcome back to another Qlik tutorial. Today I want to talk about scatter plots, but before I do that, I just want to give a couple of key tips for when you're building out your apps. It's really important that you develop a very clear and consistent theme throughout all your pages. So I just wanted to give a little bit of context to how I do this. So usually whenever I build out a page in my dashboard, I usually start off with a page description. So this just gives a little bit of information to the user about this page. So you can see here that this page is dedicated to sales analysis. So when the user straight away clicks on this page, they know exactly what to expect from it. I then usually use KPI cards, which was in the previous tutorial, to straight away bring to the user's attention some key performance measures. So this part basically essentially tells you exactly what is happening within the business. We know what our sales revenue is, we know what our general average sales are per order, and we know how many units we sold in total. The user can see this straight away. But where you really add value to a business or your clients as a data analysis is explaining, well, how did we get to these figures? How was this achieved? Was this good? Was it bad? Does the business need to make any potential changes? And it's our job as analysts to basically drive this through our visualization. So what I want to focus on today is using the scatter plot to do some product analysis. So I will go through it at a later date, but essentially I'm going to use a layout container. And then what a layout container does is essentially just helps you in terms of organizing your canvas. There's two ways that you can add the scatter plot. We can either use the left-hand pane here and go into charts, or I could just add the content button here, which I'll just use for the purpose of this tutorial. And I'm looking for a scatter plot. So first and foremost, I don't want on the actual canvas the title, so you'll see this go away. And I want to expand my scatter plot. So on the x-axis, I want the total sales. And on my y-axis, I want how many units we sold. And in terms of the actual bubble, I want this to be by product category. So there we have it, our scatter plot. This is okay, but we can really make this stand out a lot more. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So we can really take our scatter plot to the next level here. So what we're going to do, if we go into our scatter plot, we go into edit properties, we could basically add quadrants, and this will make it a lot easier to really understand what our best and worst performing products are. So if we go into add-ons, if we go onto x-axis reference line, what I'm going to do here is put a line in where I think, or where we think the business would think this is a great amount of sales. So we could say here, and we've got the reference line expression. So I'm going to put in here 30,000. We could also, we're going to give this a label, and I'm just going to call this sales, let's say sales threshold. You could also change the color, but I think black makes perfect sense. But it could be a solid line, it could be a dashed line, whatever you want. So now essentially we have our sales threshold, and we could also do the same in terms of our units sold. So once again, I'm going to go to and add another reference line, but this time on the y-axis. And I'm going to say that we're going to put one at, let's say 50, and then we're going to call this, I'll keep it simple, units sold threshold. And once again here, within the y-axis section, we can change the color of this if you wanted to. You can make the line solid or dash, but again, I think it's important to have a consistent theme. Okay, let's see how this looks now. Excellent, except for we don't have our units sold threshold label. Excellent. There we have it. So this looks much better. So now you can see now we've got these four quadrants. So we can very easily identify. It's very obvious to me that the electronics product is performing well, but maybe our beauty products are not doing so well, and potentially. But we can make this stand out even further for the user. And one way we can do this is that we can actually color our bubbles. So if we go to appearance, we go to colors and legend, and at the moment this is automatic, and this is why the colors are all the same. But if we take it off automatic and we want to color our bubbles by expression, we can put an expression to identify much easily our best performing and worst performing products. So like how what you would do in terms of something like Excel, I'm going to use an if statement here. So I'm going to say if I just put if I put in the letter T, you can see here my master measure here, total sales. You can see here it says measure if total sales is greater than or equal to 30,000, then I want you to mark that bubble as green. Great. So remember here, we're doing a nested if function. So this first part there is the initial condition. Now I'm going to put another if statement within the else statement. Okay. So what I'm going to say, and I'll put this on a new line, if our, again, and we're going to use my master measure, if units sold are less than or equal to 50, then I want you to, my bubble to be the color red, and everything else I want to be the color dark gray. Okay, so what Qlik has is some pre-configured color functions, but there are other ways that you can use other colors which we won't cover for the purpose of this video. And you can also see here if there are any errors in your expression when you are doing things by expression, but you can see here that it's correct. So what this is saying, as I said before, you can see at the bottom, if my total sales are greater than 30,000, then I'd like you to mark my bubbles as green. We're using a nested function here. So if not, else. If our units sold are less than 50, mark it red. And for everything else, I want it to be dark gray. Great, and there you go. So really what I'm saying here is these products are okay. These electronics products are really excellent. And we can see that our beauty products are not really doing much for us. One more thing we can do to really improve our scatter plot is we need to give it a title. So I'll just say we're gonna call this product analysis. And you can see that, there you go. And then, we can here again, we can look at our chart. We can, if we go into styling, there's loads more we can do. We can essentially increase the size of our bubble if you wanted to. So you can see here, but I'm going to show you another key little trick here, which I really like. So in terms of our bubble, what we can do is then we can change the size based on, let's say, the total sales. Excellent. So you can see here that the more sales for a particular product has a larger bubble, and you can see our worst performing product has a smaller bubble. So I think this stands out much more. This is a really quick way to do a scatter plot. It's sent to do some product analysis. So we can see here, we've created a scatter plot which analyzes our products based on total sales, the units sold. I've added in some reference line here to create some quadrants, and we've color coded it to make it much easier for the user or for the business to identify the key patterns and trends. So this gives you a quick insight into how we can use our scatter plot to help us do some exploratory analysis. Until next time, guys. Cheers.